What's good, everybody? It's cjbeatz. We're back at it again today. Today we're gonna make an icy cold beat in Logic Pro X. So you're gonna ask yourself, CJ, what do you mean by icy cold beat? What I mean by that is it's gonna take all the heat out of the room. You're gonna start wearing layers upon layers to stay warm. It's like sitting on top of an iceberg in the North Pole or something like that. All joking aside, thanks for joining this video today. I'm going to be producing a beat in the style of, I don't know, Meghan Thee Stallion, maybe Nicki Minaj, something like that. Straight bass, drums, some percussion, keeping it real simple, but at the same time, super cold. Before we get started, what I wanted to do is introduce you guys to a sample pack I just recently released called Minimalist. It is available on frequency.com. I'll put a link in the description as well as in the cards. All you need to do is enter your email address and you get to download it. It has 10 samples in it that also come tracked out, so you can rearrange and do whatever you'd like to come up with your own beats with them. So again, go download that. It had over 1,000 downloads the first couple of weeks, so don't fall behind. Make sure to download that right away and get with the program. So let's start making this beat. Let's switch over to Logic and get going. Okay, I got a brand new project now. I'm gonna go ahead and create a new software instrument. The first thing I'm gonna do is add the trusted drum machine designer that we can add our drum samples to. The drum sounds that you're going to be hearing today come from a pack called Angels Volume 2, and you could also download that on frequency.com. I'll put a link in the description as well as in the cards. These are really hard-hitting drums that will bring your production to the next level. So first things first, let's pick out an 808 bass sound that we can make a nice bass line with. I think this one is a pretty good one to start with here. After dropping that drum sound in, the first thing I'm going to do is manipulate the sound a little bit by changing the polyphony to mono. And what that would do is basically chop off the sound anytime I play a new note. So I like the sound, but it might be a little bit too long for the style that I'm going with. So I'm going to go ahead and just shorten it a little bit like so. And what's dope is that you could see the original sort of faded out in the background. And then, you know, as you're manipulating the length of that sample, the highlighted wave sign will appear in the front there. Now I want it to thump a little more. So what I'm going to do is add some distortion to it. I'm going to use the Distortion 2. This is a plugin that comes with Logic. Let's go with the Growl Distortion Light. Nice. I'm going to drop an EQ on top of that. Let's cut out the highs and the mids a little bit. Maybe we can even accentuate some of the mids here. Let's find the balance that you want. Before I continue, I'm going to drop a soft clipper right on top of the stereo output. And I actually made one in Logic using the overdrive. And I have another tutorial on that I put out a long time ago. A lot of you guys liked what I did with the overdrive and creating a soft clipper like this. And it'll basically just, you know, make sure that the output doesn't peak, and also at the same time still you know, make your beats bang. I'm going to bring my BPM up to like 145, and I'm going to just loop off a 4-bar section like this. Just turn my metronome on. Now that we have that bass line, let's go into the MIDI that we just recorded. I'm going to hit Command A and Q to quantize. Almost good. Let's go ahead and undo that quantization. I want to go ahead and bring it over to an 8th note like so. That's good. Now, in order to make all of the volume levels the same, I like coming over here to the note velocity, bringing them all up, and bringing them back down a tad, so that this way all of them are on the same volume level. Let's go back to the drum machine designer now, and let's add another drum sample. So the next thing I'm going to use is a clap. Probably a good one to use. I'm going to come over here, just create a new MIDI region, make it the same length, and we could start drawing in using the brush tool here. I'm holding command down. I'm just adding on the 3 clap sound like that. Now, what I like to do is always tune my drums so that, you know, the pitch of the drum sound that I'm using actually matches what I'm trying to do. So for this one, I'm thinking probably going to pitch it up 2 semitones like that. That's dope. I'm definitely going to add somewhat of a reverb to this. So let me come over to reverb. I like using the silver verb. And I'm just going to bring the wet down a little bit. Nice. I think the clap could use a little bit of compression here to bring it out a little more. So I'm going to use a compressor here. I'll just use one of the drum presets. I like using the Type U Tight kit. Nice. Let's add another sample here. I think at this point we could start adding some hi-hats. So I'm going to use a hat here. First one's probably good. Again, using my brush tool in the piano roll, and I'll pencil in some here like so. So I'm just selecting every second one and bringing down the volume a little bit. Then I'm going to select all of them and just bring my playhead position to the next bar. Hit Command C, Command V. Just paste it over like so. You can see that I'm constantly mixing my tracks, right? So as I'm listening, I'm trying to see if certain sounds are, you know, too loud or can't be heard at all, so that I'll need to bring them up. But it's always good to, like, you know, mix as you're making the beat. Saves time in the end, basically. I think we could add some hi-hat rolls, so maybe we'll add some 132 triplets. And I'm just listening to the beat and then thinking where I could place these hi-hat rolls as the beat plays. You could draw something like this in there. So if you like that, you could come here, just loop it. Nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is highlight my section here that I built, and I'm going to copy it over. I'm just holding Alt down and dragging it over to make a second part like that. So as the beat, you know, progresses, I want to definitely, you know, have it change up a little bit here and there. Especially if you're not using a lot of sounds, it's important to keep the listener interested. I'm always trying to think like an artist. You know, I listen to songs and see how an artist would flow on a track and what sort of change-ups are happening in the beat. This way, you keep the listener and the artist entertained in a sense to make sure that they don't get bored with the beat. You got to keep them engaged, and change-ups here and there every 4 to 8 bars are definitely essential in doing that. Let me pause right here. I just wanted to talk to you guys about my Patreon. If you guys are interested in receiving all the sounds that you hear in my tutorial, including MIDI files, stems, whatever it is, project files, sign up to my Patreon. It's only $3 a month. Anytime I drop a tutorial, you're gonna get all the sounds and the project files. It doesn't even matter if you're not using Logic, because I'm gonna be including all the stems and MIDIs as well, so you can incorporate them in any DAW of your choice. Or if you're interested in downloading the project file, the MIDI melody and the stems and whatnot, and you don't want to pay $3 a month, it's only $3 to download this project file. So you could hit the link in the description as well and head over to frequency.com to buy this project right now. All right, let's get back to this beat right now. Fire. Let's try and see if we can find a different pitch for that hi-hat. So I just, clicked on this, hit the Q sampler, so this comes up, and then I'm going to change the pitch a little bit, maybe a little bit lower. All right, at this point, as the beat progresses too, you want to add like, what I like doing is like starting with an 808 and then like adding a kick later on to just emphasize the 808 and bass a little more. So what I'll do is go back to my Drum Machine Designer, and we'll go ahead and go back to that same kit, look for a kick. It's hard, so let's add that. Once it drops into the 17th bar here, I'll start adding that kick. You need right there. Oof. And then, it's always good to take elements out as the beat progresses too, that again keeps the listener and the artist engaged. So as I'm taking out the hi-hats at this point, I'm thinking maybe I can add some other elements, maybe some different percussion or something like that, just to keep the listener engaged at this point in the beat. Let me actually record some live percussion. So I'm going to choose audio this time around. I got my mic right here. Got a box of goodies. So let's see what we got in this pack here. That's fire. Maybe we'll use that. Got a little finger drum. And this is what I was actually looking for. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is click to highlight it. I'm going to come over to my Smart Tempo section. I'm going to analyze again. So basically, make sure it snaps into the grid. Use an EQ, get rid of the lows. Basically, I'm just, shaping the sound the way I want it to sound using an EQ. EQs are going to be your best friend if you're just getting into production. So I'm going to start using my scissor tool now to just cut out the portion that I really like, the take that I like. I know this was a little offbeat. Let's see what goes on over here. All right, I like those two takes right there. I'm going to start with this one here. I'm going to cut out all the dead air, basically. Just do some housekeeping, as I like to say. All right, so now that we got something to work with, so that one's a little offbeat. Come over like here. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of reverb to that as well. just so that it can take out. Now, since I recorded this in mono, I definitely want it to be stereo. So when I select a plugin like the Silververb, I can actually convert that audio from mono to stereo. So I'm going to do that now. Wet down a little bit. I'm going to go back into the EQ, try to shape the sound a little more. Cool. So once you're happy with it, I'm just going to hold, just going to highlight the section that I was working on. Go ahead and hold Alt down, drag it over like so. And as the hi-hat comes back, what I'll do is basically just take one of these and place it into some sections that I want. I'm not going to repeat that whole crazy, percussion element like so, but I'm not going to repeat it the way it is, but I'm going to actually reduce the amount of times I'm using it. And I might change, where I'm going to place them later on as I'm creating. I'm just, shaping the sounds, adding them, and then I'll have a listen to the whole progression and then take elements away. So there's a lot happening with the bass over here, so I'm going to leave these guys out. I think I'm going to automate the panning on that percussion piece too. So I'm going to hit A to automate. Go down to main, pan, and absolute. So when it comes to this section right here, I'll have it pan left and right. What's cool about this is I can do this once, basically. Just adding bubbles like this to pan left and right. And then I can actually copy that panning pattern. Say that 3 times fast, panning pattern, by highlighting those bubbles, holding Alt down, dragging it over, it's reusing it. Okay, so the beat is kind of dry. We definitely need some sort of instrumentation. Not a lot, but definitely some instrumentation. So I'm going to go ahead and add a software instrument here. Use the vintage Mellotron. That's all we need right there. Maybe change the tape speed on this a little bit. And then as it drops over here, what we'll do is take all of them, Command A, and then we're going to do Option, Shift, and down. So I'm going to add some reverb on this as well, on that flute. That stereo. Let's start incorporating some pauses and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this like so. Now I'm going to go over to the drum kit again. Let's find a Vox.
Yeah. Slick, right? Nice. Let's get it. Got it. Hey.
That A will probably fit. So again, all of these sounds, the drum sounds that you're hearing come from the Angels Volume 2 drum kit. Let's find a place to put this short pause like that. Put the A right there.
Hey.
Maybe we'll do a delay on the A just to emphasize it just a tad more. So let's go over to delay, use a tape delay. Feedback, we want like very short.
Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
So once you got that section, you could just copy it over like so. Start building your song structure like that. Let's bring that mic over again. I'm gonna add some more live percussion to this. Okay, so now that we recorded that little percussion piece, I'm gonna try and find the best take. I'm just gonna imagine like where I could hear it first, then I'll place that little shaker. It's pretty good. I'm gonna hold Option down. Just, zoom in a little bit here. Option down. Shorten it a bit. Good. Drop an EQ on that. Take the lows out. Also drop a verb on that stereo. So to end it, I'm just going to drag this over here. Take that out. What I'll do is hit read on the stereo output and A to automate. Then I'll go ahead and automate the volume for this last portion here to fade it out. The outro. That. So I think this beat definitely turned out pretty cold, and it's on you guys now to expand on it, you know, add vocals to it if you're an artist, whatever you want to do with it. Like I mentioned before, become one of my patrons and you get to download all my project files anytime I drop a tutorial. So go hit that link, sign up. It's only $3 a month. There's many other ways you could support this channel. You could also hit the thanks button down below on YouTube, or you could head over to frequency.com, buy a loop kit, buy a drum kit, and keep this channel going. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video today. My name is CJ Beatz, and I'm out for now. Peace.